My name is Kathy Mayo, and I'm just really excited to be here. First of all, I want to say I'm really happy for this crowd. I can tell that it's a mixed bunch, meeting a lot of people from out of town who are Alaskans, a lot of people from stateside, and as a lifelong Fairbanks, and I was born and raised here, I just want to give you a special welcome. I'm just really glad to see this group here. I think that our conversation is important. What I'm going to do today in this panel on the future of Alaska, job readiness and workforce development, is you can see that it's building on everything that we've talked about thus far. And this is a topic that I particularly have a passion for. It's because I believe in this state, I believe in the development of this state, and when it comes to development, it really is all about the people. Because as we have projects that we've talked about, dreams and aspirations that we talk about, it's the people that are going to make it happen. And that's kind of been woven into my career throughout over the decades, is mentoring people and developing people at all levels, whether it's in the professional or the craft levels. So it really gives me a lot of pleasure today to welcome this panel with us. And going from the right over to the left, we have Tiffany Simmons. She is the executive director of the Doyon Foundation. Doug Tansy, he's the president of the Central Labor Council and with IBEW, and Dr. Diane OBrien, interim director of the Institute for Arctic Research. So welcome to all of you. I'm going to let each of you say a bit about whatever you'd like to share and about your program, and then we'll get into some dialogue. So again, welcome.
Since I was introduced first. Well, good afternoon, everyone. As Kathy had said, my name is Tiffany Simmons. I actually grew up in Galena, Alaska, and some of you in the room might know that Galena was an Air Force base back when I was growing up, and it was established during World War II. I'm currently the executive director of the Doyon Foundation, and the Doyon Foundation, to give you a little information, is one of 12 regional foundations that provides scholarships for vocational ed, higher education, scholarships to Alaska Native students. The Doyon Foundation was established in 1989 by Doyon Limited, who is our regional Native corporation. Earlier today, well, hold on, let me back up again. We really focus on not just the education, career development, and opportunities for our students. And hundreds of thousands goes into supporting our students that are out there. And earlier today, we heard the term or the words multi-domain awareness. And so I was sitting back there in the corner and I was like, I need to Google this to get a little bit of better grasp on what it is that he's talking about. And it really kind of brought me back to, oh, I know why I'm here. I really know why I'm here, because really that's what connects us all. It's everything. It's everything that our students are going to school for. It's everything that we're participating in, and it really connects us all together and builds that full picture that we really need to be able to do the work that we do. And so really exciting, kind of makes me think about the different areas that some of our students are in. We just recently, we have graduates from some of our student graduates who are right now, there's one that's a civil engineer, and he's doing design work on the runway in McGrath, Alaska. We have a process technology graduate that's out there right now at Eielson Air Force Base as a coal operator. We have some of our graduates are running our Alaska Native regional and village corporations, and they're successful, and they have contracts with the Department of Defense. So It's really exciting to be here. It's great to be a part of such a panel. I have been with the foundation for about 2 months, and I really thought, what is it that I can bring to this group? And part of my whole career has been, helping and mentoring and internships throughout my career and helping people get to that next step. So it's pretty exciting to be here. I want to thank for the invitation to be able to come participate today on such an important topic, job readiness and workforce development. So thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Doug Tansy. I am currently serving as the president of the Fairbanks Central Labor Council, which also encompasses the Fairbanks Building and Construction Trades Council. I am one of the executive officers for that group, and also I'm serving as the assistant business manager for IBW Local 1547 here in the state of Alaska. My background in labor began as I entered into an electrical apprenticeship here in Fairbanks. I came from the village of Cantwell, moved here for high school. After high school, I found my opportunity following one of my cousins into the apprenticeship program, helped guide my pathway to understand what I needed to do, the steps I needed to take, and the things that I had to get done in order to be eligible for this chance. It was a great time to get started in any of the trades. All the programs around the state were ramping their numbers up, trying to account for what was a foreseeable wave of retirement due to the bubble of people that came through during the pipeline era building the TAPS pipeline. It was also an economic boom where we had building out of roads and infrastructure on the bases. And the work picture for the future was actually equally as strong. So I came at a time when the wave was starting to come up. It was a high time to get in. And it's been a fantastic opportunity for me, my family, the ability to have upward mobility, to provide a safe and secure home with good food security, transportation, ability for me to spend time with my kids. It's been a tremendous thing that I would love to share with more people. Today, as I look around, I feel like we're in a similar situation again. A massive workforce shortage in skilled labor. We, again, have a very strong outlook for the opportunity that's in front of us today in the work picture. But in our future, we also have an equally as positive outlook going forward, and the visibility in the horizon is further than I normally can see. Construction is boom and bust. It has very short distance in front of us that we sometimes don't know what's coming around the corner. But right now, as a state, a town, and our country, it is really elevating and escalating, and it's, again, another exciting time for us to look at this. My organization, the IBW and the building trades, we've got a lot of things that we've been trying to do in our recent history to up our numbers, to get better recruitment, to get out, and like I said, share this chance with people that are looking for this type of work. We've gone to all the job fairs. We've partnered with the local school district in getting high school accreditation for classes that we teach for CTE, for plumbers and pipe fitters, for electrical, for carpentry, for operators, painting, so on and so forth. We've also started 2 new programs that focus on our veteran enrollment, and that's kind of where I wanted to spend a little of my time today. The first one is called VEEP. It's Veterans Electrical Entry Program. It's a situation that we've been able to work with the military down in J-Bear and here in Fort Wainwright, to where we are enrolling military members before they even exit their military service. Get them in curriculum, teach them the first-year class, and it's portable. We are entering them into local programs. If they're going back to Nashville, Tennessee, they've already completed the first-year program, the electrical apprenticeship, same as is Nashville, same as is here. We've actually had probably about 3/4 of our classes stay here in Alaska. They want to be here in Alaska, which is really not that surprising, being that Alaska is the highest per capita veterans of any state in the country. So we see a lot of retention with this program, but we've also initiated and lifted off what is called VIPER, and it is Veterans Internship Providing Employment Readiness. And this is for all the building trades. So like I mentioned before, the vertical construction trades, the civil contractor type trades, these are programs that we are bringing military veterans in before they even DD out of their service and providing them a place that they know they're going to go to when they step out. It was about 8 years ago that my daughter was doing her first grade presentation for the Veterans Day celebration on November 11th here in the same room. The current base commander at that time spoke about the average unemployment for exiting military members being on average 9 months. And that was kind of felt like a slap in the face to those people. So we really did a real effort to try to up those recruitments. We're very proud of what we've done so far. Like I said, I think we were down below 10% veterans in our programs prior to this. Currently, we are above 20% veterans in the program. And it's been really a win-win situation for those service members who served our country to come in and have a terrific chance to start a new career in a profession. But it's also been something that has been much more successful than just some sort of public engagement trying to look good in front of the public in bringing veterans on board. It's actually been a real win-win where we are finding people that are really geared toward construction. They're used to working in the field. They're used to working with teams, sometimes working with people they don't like. The immaturity's been beat out of them. They know how to show up on time, and they know chain of command. So it's just been a fantastic thing that we are looking to increase in the future. I look forward to this discussion. I'm very proud to be part of it. I feel really special to be a part of something that's so important that can uplift so many people's families and lives. But also, I hope we get a chance to talk about the spouses of these veterans and talk about the holistic approach to everybody getting a chance and elevating our community fabric by lifting everybody up together. So I thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for inviting me to come by, and I look forward to the discussion. So thanks a lot. Oh, sorry.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Diane OBrien. I am the director of the Institute of Arctic Biology at UAF. And I'm going to talk a little bit about UAF and the opportunities for partnership with DoD. My position and my focus is really research, so that's what I'm going to talk about, are some of the research opportunities that can then create opportunities for training and workforce development. And of course, there are a great many at the university. I'm going to focus on my own shop. So the Institute of Arctic Biology is really the central hub for research in the life sciences at UAF. And so we're not the people that shoot rockets, but there are still some really great areas of opportunity for partnership with DoD. And I really want to focus on two of them in my remarks right now. So the first is the Center for Alaska Native Health Research, which for about 15 years has been developing a model of suicide prevention in Alaska Native communities and in partnership with Alaska Native communities that has been extremely successful. And the basic model is a simple one to explain. So the philosophy is to focus on the existing strengths and what is working in communities, rather than coming in and saying, no. You're doing everything wrong, you have all these problems, and I'm going to tell you how you need to be doing things like how we do it over here. So in this kind of approach, you're fostering the strengths that are already in existence, because every community has strengths and every community has things that are working in addition to problems. So in Alaska Native communities, a huge part of that strength is connection to culture and connection to communities. And so the programs that we have developed, or the center has developed, in partnership with those communities, really focuses on fostering those strengths and providing the resources to develop them in partnership with elders who then serve as mentors for youth. And we have shown that that is an extremely protective and effective approach. Like Alaska Native communities, as you all know, the military bears a disproportionate burden of suicide and rising. And so it's an area of great concern. The military also has communities that have sources of strength. And so this is an opportunity to apply this type of model that has worked well in an Alaska setting to a new context. And we're really excited to develop partnerships with the military to bring the strengths that have been developed at the university in this area to bear on some of those problems. And in fact, we're really happy to have Dr. and Lieutenant Colonel James Morton joining our center to serve as a liaison and to explore those areas of opportunity. So this is the type of program that would provide opportunities for student training in the social sciences and in behavioral health. And that is an area of great need in all of our Alaska communities. The other area I want to briefly touch on has to do with boreal forests and change, climate change in boreal forests. So, and particularly how that relates to permafrost stability, which is, of course, a really important issue that cuts across many regions of Alaska and is, I know, of importance to the military. So when you think about how the life sciences play into that, well, the soil and the things that grow in the soil you can think of as a little jacket that protects that permafrost. The spruce communities that you're used to seeing around the state are like a nice, puffy, down-filled parka, whereas the aspen and birch forest is more like a windbreaker. It's not protecting the permafrost to the extent that those spruce forests are. And the composition of forests in northern lands is in flux. In some cases, the flux is exacerbated by wildfire. And so we have a number of groups in our center or in our institute that are already partnering with DoD to try to understand the factors that lead toward the shifting of the forest in one direction or the other, to be able to project changes in permafrost and be able to anticipate how those changes are going to be taking place in the years to come. And that's an area of research partnership that creates opportunities for students to get involved who have interests in forestry or interests in wildlife, and we place many of our graduates in those kinds of positions around the state. So I think with that, I'll leave it, and I'll look forward to the discussion and trying to answer questions you may have.
Thank you. As it was referenced earlier today, Alaska was fortunate to have Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin visit our state, visit the interior. And in addition to, of course, remarking on what an important location Alaska serves, he also talked about our many assets. And he talked about the valued airmen and servicemen and women who are stationed here and who serve our country. And at that time, he did spend a lot of time talking about mental health. And so I do appreciate you sharing the research that's being done and the applicability much beyond and with DoD. I know that you you and I had shared earlier just about the success among your veteran apprentices that come in, and impart some of the camaraderie that is established. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about that, Doug.
Great, thanks, Kathy. A lot of our military veterans come in, like I mentioned before, having matured a little bit. They've been a part of very complex missions. They've done some things that have required a lot of training and a lot of repetition. Their dependability is top-notch. But some of the things that we talked about in mental health in the visit with Secretary Austin was suicide prevention and intervention. That's definitely a part of what the building trades have been trying to do is when I say elevate the level of living for all these members and their families, it's a holistic approach of providing a living wage, a wage that they can sustain their households, but also providing health care and insurance that provides any sort of mental health care that they may need. Retirement benefits, a way to make sure that there's more stability in their whole household. Having a career where a business and an industry is investing in them provides a sense of worth and a sense of a part of something that is much larger than themselves that I do believe is very prevalent in their military service. It's been a wonderful partnership that, like I said, we're very proud of what we've done, but we're trying to elevate it even more because there's still a lot more to be done. There's still so much more opportunity that we have not capitalized on yet. And it's just a great benefit for both parties, I believe.
Thank you, Doug. I want to move on to technology and the role that it plays, in all of our lives and the increasingly complexity of it. Underpinning all of this, to a great degree, is broadband access. And broadband quality and reliability is really key to the military in the Arctic. It's important, too, for all of our Alaskans, especially in rural areas, who currently don't have access to good broadband service. And that's really necessary, I think, for increased productivity of communities and the viability of communities. We're entering the age of low orbiting satellites, LEOs, constellations, and they're quickly becoming available, and they really are holding the promise of delivery of broadband to all points in the state. I'd like you to talk about what this means in developing Alaska's new technical and professional workforce. What are some of your thoughts, and what do you think we have in front of us? How might it change for Alaskans?
Well, I'm eager to answer that question. What's happening with the low orbiting satellites is really exciting. Growing up in Galena in a remote village and working for the last, over 20 years with rural villages and traveling to several rural villages, I've seen the impacts and the challenges and the opportunities that are there when we have these opportunities in front of us. Wow, I just can't, where this is going to bring us to this next step, to this next level. There are so many places that are untouched. And, I think that there are things that can be expanded on. There are things that we already know. I mean, our people, we've been planners. We have been planning how to live in the environment that goes from right now outside, I don't know what, it feels like 150 degrees to me, but all the way down to 60 below. I heard this morning in the presentation, learning how to operate in weather at 40 below, and really the only thing you can see in front of you is about a couple of feet because everything else is ice fog, right? And how do we operate in those kind of ways, and being able to see how far that we have come and how much more that there is to go once this opportunity opens up even more. Touching on mental health for just a second, going back to that, there's opportunities that are there. We have been in our rural villages doing telehealth, and we have been doing virtual counseling. So going back to that full picture and scope of what can be done, the communications, understanding and being able to make decisions that are going to be impactful. They're going to help us make better decisions and be able to take our projects to the next step and how we work together and partner. And I have to look at my paper once in a while so I don't forget anything. So like the military, we are going to be able to expand and address some of the most complex needs that are out there, and having access to information that's going to help us even more.
One part I'd like to add to that, as we look at building out broadband and power, whether it be resiliency in homes through different power generations, maybe through solar generation areas. There are so many sub-regions in this state, so many areas with many small villages and small communities that are tied together and networked together, where we can actually develop workforce in those communities and have people that will serve those sub-regions for perpetuity going forward. The broadband aspect of things and getting the young people of the state the chance to have quicker access online, to get to more trainings, to more educational type stuff. You mentioned some of the things, but STEM programs, and in construction, people sometimes think of construction as just only blue collar, hard working, dirty hands. We are that. That's who I am. But we're also very thoughtful and have to be innovative, creative. It takes a background in this. It takes a background in this to continue to evolve and be nimble. The evolution in technology today is happening, regenerating so fast, it's difficult to keep up. The young people of today really need to get a head start on this, and broadband, I think, will be very effective in helping that.
I just wanted to comment also from the point of view of the university. The university has been investing a great deal in eCampus, which is our arm that is focused on basically reaching out and providing online learning opportunities. So making that broadband access available across the state will really open up opportunities. They're pushing very, very hard to get entire degree programs online and get courses online. And of course, COVID has just, given us the little kick up the butt to do that even a little bit faster. So that's, and that goes hand in hand with what Doug was saying about STEM and the types of, really diverse work opportunities that come from that kind of training background. And I just want to comment really quickly on something else that Doug said, which was about the camaraderie of the veterans in your training programs. And I just wanted to say, I before I took on my research director position, I have been teaching for 17 years at the university, and I teach introductory biology. It's a big class, and we've had a lot of cohorts of veterans and a lot of military dependents that go through that class, and they really do function as a cohort and a team, and that's a strength that I see in those communities, and it just plays out in all these different settings, so that's really neat to see.
Thank you for that. I'm glad to hear you draw upon STEM education because it is such a critical foundation that should be established early on, K through 12, and then throughout a person's academic or training career, because it really transcends all fields of study and what a person might take up. We hear in the news that there's a shortage of workers. We heard it in the panel before us. There seems to be a gap. And what would you like to share with the audience here on how they can take steps to help in closing the gap? Because I think it really goes beyond just the academic or training component, but it's really about providing experiences too while somebody's in school. What are some of your thoughts on that?
So that's a really good question. And earlier today, I was really happy to hear the Department of Defense talk about growing Arctic mission presentation on the need is more, the strategic plans that have gone on, and then also identifying and addressing that and saying that, the budget is not there as well. However, we need to be able to continue to move forward, right? And so because of how we have strategically planned our people in our rural villages, the climate and all of those things have kind of gone around how we do things, why we do things, when we do things, because it was what we depended on to be able to move forward. And I really think that the opportunity for internships is huge. I think that is a great direction and step for us to be moving into. Putting those internship opportunities within our strategies. If your strategy is created, how do you fit it into the project? How do you fit it in, how do you budget for that to be able to make that happen? Not only will that help, the student success and actually growing our future workforce into the areas that we want and we need them to be in, it's also going to help us with what we are facing today as we see that there is a need for that. So I think that this is kind of a perfect timing for all of this to kind of start to come together and to be here and to have these conversations. So thank you.
The part that I would add to that, as far as what can everybody here do to be part of the solution, is to be a voice out there and encourage and push policymakers or anybody who has the authority who develops procurement strategies for projects, for contractors, when they solicit for bids, to make sure that they incentivize and reward contractors that are employing really good strategies, or put them in the documents, the specs of the bid itself. For example, local hire provisions or veteran hire provisions. You can have apprenticeship utilization targets flat out in the procurement of the contracts as they go out the door. So all contractors bidding the work will have an emphasis on workforce development, that they will focus on veteran hire and local hire. Local hire is one of the best ways to build up an economy, to bring young people on, to help provide them a career to where they're contributing to the tax base, to being productive. but also being so secure that they're volunteering in the community, helping coach t-ball or soccer or whatever they want to go do. I've done little kids wrestling. I'm a wrestler. But it's something that everybody can advocate for, and it's something that is not partisan, and it's not controversial. It's just good business, and it's smart for us to do.
I'm really glad to hear that, because it is that is the smart approach that we all need to take on, and because what we all want is a highly qualified workforce, and these are some of the pieces that are going to help us get there. I think that my experience in throughout my career and in promoting young people is to get that experience while you're in school. You need to be able to be graduating or finishing your program with some experience. You can't go, be getting out as a clean slate, without that professional or work experience. That is, it's really a critical component. With that, I'd really like to thank you for participating in this. I think this is an important event, and again, I'm really glad to have all of you here, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you for the invitation.